Welcome into One of One Sports. So the NBA All Star break just happened when I'm filming this. Filming it, what's today? Monday, probably come out Wednesday before the games start back up. But I thought it'd be fun to do a revised standings prediction and finals and playoff predictions for the NBA for this latter part of the season. So starting off, I'm just going to go through these are what the current standings are at the break, and then I'm going to revise them, how I think it'll finish, and then I'll put them, into some graphics, and we'll go through who I think will make the playoffs. Starting off in the West, I think easy OKC will remain number one. And my first change is going to happen. I think Denver will be they're half a game back of Memphis right now. I think they'll slightly outperform Memphis, probably only like a game, maybe two, and that'll be enough to get the 2 seed and have home court advantage in a potential second round series between these teams. Now the Rockets have about a 2 game advantage on the Lakers, and I think they will be able to hold it. I think the Lakers, I think in these first few games after the break with Luka, like LeBron getting healthy, Luka still finding his form, will struggle a little more and won't catch up to the Rockets. So I'll have them stay at 5. And then the Clippers, Timberwolves. Let me check the standings on that real quick because I can't quite remember. So that's about a 1 game difference. Healthy Kawhi, the trades that the Clippers made, I like them a little more. I'm going to keep the Timberwolves in the play-in, and then Mavericks with AD being hurt still, and the other injuries they sustained, I'm going to drop them below the Kings. Actually, we'll keep them above the Kings for now. But the Warriors, I will move up to 8 just because I like the way they were playing with Jimmy Butler before the break. I think they'll do well. And if I check the standings again, that's all within a game and a half. So I like the Warriors to move up to 8. Sacramento, I don't like the trades they made. I think they're going to drop. And I actually think they're going to fall out of the play-in. And the Suns, I think, will move up to get the 10. I'm thinking about doing the 9. The Suns have an easier second half of the schedule than Dallas, in my opinion. And for the moment, are healthier than Dallas. But I'm going to keep Phoenix at 10. And we're going to have Dallas 9. Then the Kings, I think, get 11. Spurs, 12. The only other change here, I think Utah will get last place and have a better chance, to win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. And I think this is good and what I will have in my Western prediction for the standings. In the East now, Cleveland, Boston, New York, I'm confident in that. I think the Bucks catch up to the Pacers and get the 4, and they swap. And I think this all stays the same, except the Hawks drop below the Heat because I don't like their deadline. I think they maybe play a little bit worse in the second half of the year. The Bulls, I think, drop out to the Sixers. They're clearly trying to do a lot worse. I think the Raptors jump up and are actually competitive with Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes, get up to 11. And then I like the rest of the order there. So that's my Eastern Conference. So now hard cut to my graphics. All right, and we're back. So these are the teams that I had in the play-in. So first, the Magic and the Heat would play in the East for the 7 seed, and I've been high on the Magic since the preseason. I thought they were going to be I think, 2 or 3 seed in the East. So they've been kind of disappointing to me. I think part of that is injuries. I was really close to making them a 6 seed. I'm high on Powell, high on Franz. It's an easy pick for me. I have them winning that. And then I probably have the Sixers beating the Hawks, but I think the Heat would not lose 2 games in a row and would get in as the 8 seed. On the other side, I think this Warriors team would beat the Timberwolves. I think Curry and Jimmy Butler together complement each other really well and can win this 1 game scenario to get into the playoffs. And then I think in the Suns Mavericks series, the Mavericks probably win if they're healthy. The Suns team just, I don't know, the vibes don't feel right in Phoenix. I say that as someone rooting for the Suns. It's been a rough season. I'm hoping it turn around, but I'm not too optimistic at the moment. But I'm not sure that the Mavericks could win 2 in a row either. That just feels too hard to do. So I'll put the Timberwolves in as the 8 seed. So now we have our bracket set. And starting in the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers would play the Heat. Cavs been the best team all year, better across the board. The Heat don't even have the potential playoff Jimmy anymore. Relying on like Tyler Hero, Bam, it's just not going to be enough. I have the Cavs in 4. Maybe it goes 5. Don't see anything further than that. Then Bucks Pacers in a rematch between last year's series. I think Damian Lillard and Tyrese Halliburton have a bit of like, it's not like a real feud, but Damian Lillard I think will play really well in this series, and he's trying to like make a point against what Halliburton did to him last year. And I think a healthy Giannis goes a long way, something they didn't have last year. And the Bucks can win this series. I'll go Bucks in 6. Then Knicks Pistons. I like the Pistons a lot. I predicted them in the preseason to get the 8 seed in the playoffs, and that was like a hot take because I'm a huge Cade Cunningham guy. I think he's super underrated, starting to get more love, but coming into the season, I just thought he was being so underrated. I picked him to win Most Improved Player, and I'm tempted to pick him in this series. I have it going 7, but I do think the Knicks overall are too talented. But the Pistons will get into the playoffs this year. I think Cade Cunningham will perform really well, and kind of like what Paolo did last year in the Magic Cavs series, where everyone's like, "Whoa, this Paolo guy!" Like, and they see it. I think that's what Cade can do this year. Might not get the series win, but will play really well. Speaking of the Magic, the other team, like I said, I've been really high on, and if they're healthy, the Jalen Suggs, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, so much defense that can give the Celtics offense problems, but they're just not going to be able to score enough to defeat the Celtics team. I think they can put up a fight, but I would have Celtics in 6. The defense will give Boston problems. It'll give anybody problems, but they just won't be able to score enough, especially when Boston has elite defenders in Holiday, White, Tatum, Brown. If Porzingis is healthy, it's going to be too much for them. Cavs, Bucks, maybe the toughest series I've had to predict. I think the Cavaliers with Mobley and Jarrett Allen have a formidable front court against Giannis and can kind of build the type of wall that's worked in the past. And Damian Lillard, though, I do think would perform well against Garland and Mitchell. But that's why you have a guy now like DeAndre Hunter. You still have Isaac Okoro, guys to throw at Lillard to disrupt him. And the Cavs have been the best team all year. I don't think the Bucks have enough defense to slow them down. I think Giannis would have to have a Herculean effort to win this. I think he comes close, but I went Cavs in 7 to put them in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, Knicks Celtics, I think the Knicks are the team that matches up the best with the Celtics in terms of having wings and OG Anunoby, if he's healthy, which he should be, Mikal Bridges, that can guard, the likes of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And you also have other really good players like Towns that can stretch out Porzingis away from the rim. You have a Jalen Brunson who's a star at the point guard position that's going to make Drew Holiday and Derek White really work on defense to maybe limit the offensive impact that they have. I don't think anyone in the Eastern Conference matches up as well or is built as well to defeat the Boston Celtics team. But at the end of the day, I think the Boston Celtics having the best player in this series in Jason Tatum, having Jaylen Brown, having Drew Holiday and Derek White to slow down Brunson, I think overall, even though they'll again struggle a bit with the wings that have the defense, a guy stretching out Porzingis, I think they can give just as many problems to the Knicks. I don't think Jalen Brunson's going to have an easy series by any means against these defensive guards, or that Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby will create a lot of offense on Boston's wings. And Cat historically has performed worse in the playoffs. And because of all that, I still believe in the Celtics to win this series. I went in 6, could see it going 7, but I'm definitely picking Boston. Now, in the Eastern Conference Finals, we have Cavs Celtics. Pretty chalky, right? 1-2. This is what it's looked like for most of the year at this point. Maybe you think the Bucks upset the Cavs or Knicks upset the Celtics, but I think these teams are the 1 and 2 seed for a reason. They've been the best teams, and they are the best teams. And I think the trade deadline, adding DeAndre Hunter, is a big piece in their series because other than that, there's not too many wings that you have to guard Tatum and Brown. So that's a big addition. But coming off a tough series against the Bucks, I think you could lose home court advantage early because you're tired out from a tough series. And then Boston's playing with home court the rest of the way. And even though the Cavs are an extremely well-rounded team, you're putting Mobley and Allen out there. One of them's going to probably have to, or Mobley in all likelihood is going to have to guard Jason Tatum. And although he's a great defender, that's not really a strong suit. I still think this matchup favors the Celtics, and I went Celtics in 6 to advance to the NBA Finals. Moving on to the Western Conference, starting off Thunder and the Timberwolves as the 1-8. It's an easy pick for me. Timberwolves have been extremely disappointing this year. The Randall trade hasn't worked out. I think Gobert would have problems guarding Holmgren, and if there's any switches, the Thunder can all expose him in pick and roll scenarios. They're so good defensively. Conley would struggle as well. It's an easy pick for me. I'll give the Timberwolves a 1, but I'm confident the Thunder would win this series. Now, the Rockets have home court against the Lakers, but I think the youth would be would be tough to overcome when you have Luca and LeBron. Now, I will say, having Dylan Brooks and Tari Eason and Asor Thompson, you're better suited than most teams to have defenders to guard LeBron and Luca and have multiple guys to throw at them. But I think the lack of experience, if these games come down to the wire, like so many playoffs games do, is going to favor LeBron and Luca. And because of that, I went Lakers in 6 to advance to the semis of the Western Conference. Then the Grizzlies and the Clippers, and I'm actually going to go with an upset here. I have the Clippers in 7. I like the moves they performed at the deadline, adding Bogdanovich. I think he can get a shot back playing in LA. I think Harden and Norman Powell will continue to play well, maybe at an all-star caliber level. And Kawhi Leonard, as he if he stays healthy, which hopefully he does, he's been great in the playoffs historically, and I think he'll continue to round into form. And this team can be peaking at the right time. I think they can upset a Memphis Grizzlies team that will lack a little bit of shooting in the playoffs. And when teams play off, I think the style of play will have to change for the Grizzlies in the playoffs. I think it's better suited for the Clippers. For those reasons, I went Clippers in 7. And then I have the Warriors getting to this point, but no further. I think Jimmy Butler will play well in the playoffs still, which is why I have him getting 2 games, because having Jimmy, having Steph Curry, and that's enough to maybe defend home court. But you're not going to have the bigs to disrupt Jokic. He's still the best player in the world. Jamal Murray's getting better at the right time. And this team is looking more and more like the team that won the championship every day. So now these are the 4 teams that we have in the semis. Moving back up top to the Thunder and the Lakers, I think the Thunder are better equipped than maybe anyone except the Rockets to guard Luka and LeBron, having Lou Dort and J-Dub. We know Lou Dort's given Luka problems in the past, and Holmgren's going to stretch out the Lakers big. And then we even really have a big. I expect a big series from Holmgren if this were to happen. I think Shea is actually the best player in this series. The Thunder have so much more depth, such a more well-rounded team. They're better defensively, and I think despite having the Luka LeBron pairing, which will be formidable in the playoffs, the Thunder will win this 4-2. And then I'm going to have them playing the Denver Nuggets, also advancing 4-2. So both LA teams losing in 6. Hopefully Kawhi's healthy and you're getting playoff Kawhi. That's why I gave you 2 games. But the Clippers also, just like every other team in the league pretty much, will not be able to guard Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray will still be playing well, and not enough perimeter defense to really disrupt the Nuggets. And Jokic, I think, is just too good. And now, for what was definitely the hardest series for me to predict in the Western Conference, because it's 2 teams I just like so much at this point. The Thunder seem, they definitely have the brightest future in the league. And since the preseason, I picked them to make the finals. Really, since they lost to the Mavericks, I was like, next year is the year. I picked Shea to win MVP in the preseason. I like J-Dub. I like Chet. It's just such a well-constructed team. They're so well managed. They're well coached. They're versatile on defense. Everything's been there all season. They have the best record. So I really believe in this team. But on the other hand, Nikola Jokic is just so clearly the best player in the world. He can rival Shea to win MVP this year. If he hadn't already won 3, I think he would definitely win. He's easily the best player in the world. And with Jamal Murray looking better, and Michael Porter Jr. still being there, and Strother supporting, being a good player, and Christian Brown playing well, and Russell Westbrook being rejuvenated or kind of reviving his career a little bit. This team is starting to look more and more like the team that won a championship, and that experience is so much greater than OKC's experience, who's only ever won 1 playoff series and would be by far the youngest team to ever win the Western Conference. But I think they're going to do it. I have them in 7. I'm thinking Hartenstein and Holmgren give Jokic enough problems, like how Gobert and Towns were able to give him last year. I still think Jokic plays great. And this was the hardest one for me to pick. And in a second, I'll talk more about it. But I'm going with the Thunder to verse the Celtics in what is really a matchup that just shows like a masterclass in roster construction, having such well-rounded teams where the Celtics, you have guys in White, Holiday, Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis, Horford off the bench, Pritchard off the bench. Just a great, well-rounded team with the stars. Same on the Thunder, having Shea, J-Dub, and Chet, with guys like Lou Dort to play defense, and other young guys like A.J. Mitchell, Aaron Wiggins, Hartenstein coming in from free agency, Caruso as well. Really similar teams who focus on wings, versatile guys who can play both sides of the ball, good defenders, can shoot it. And in the preseason, I picked the Celtics over Thunder in the finals. This was my preseason matchup. But the Celtics just haven't looked like the team I thought they would. And I'm not sure you'll be able to turn it on completely. I think they're slightly worse than last year. And although the Thunder lack experience, I am picking them to win the NBA Finals in my revised prediction. And this was really tough call. I was going to end up picking whoever I picked in that Thunder Nuggets series, though, and I'm leaning Thunder. The only thing scaring me off is this lack of experience. I could see the Nuggets beating them or even the Celtics, and I'm really just between those three teams at this point. But those are my revised predictions post NBA All-Star break. Make sure to let me know, who do you guys have winning the title? How's that changed for what you had in the preseason? Leave it in the comments down below. You made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to help me grow the channel. Until next time.